Okay, so just a quick review here. We have just gone over the homework, which was to implement a delete link in our database. Well, for our roster here. So what we wanted to do was add a delete character link for each of the characters. So we have an edit if you want to edit this character, and now we have a delete if we want to delete this character. Um, Dan over here is getting all fancy. Look at that. It's okay. It's okay. Don't be too ashamed, Dave. No worries. No
Yeah,
worries.
just get straight to the point.
It's straight to the point. All right. No, that's right. That's right. And yeah, that works. That works. And yeah, so we implemented the delete button, and so the delete button was when you hit it, you deleted this character, and boom, there you go. And we went over and we did some troubleshooting before, so and it works. And so now we're moving on to the next lesson, which is kind of the most important and most basic lesson in, well, in being a web developer, which is what is HTTP and what is a get and post. We have been throwing these words around until now, but we really haven't, like, we don't know the meaning. We just use it, and we probably have a little bit of an idea of what they are and how they're used, but we really don't. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. Okay, so we live in the world of the internets these days, right? That's what we do as web developers. We mess around in the internet. We do stuff having to do with the internet. And the protocol for the internet currently is called HTTP. Say it with me.
HTTP.
That's right. And it stands for Hypertext
Hypertext.
Transfer Protocol. That's right. Hypertext. Is it with a Y? I don't know. Hypertext Transfer Protocol. All right. So a bunch of people got together a long time ago and say, "Hey, man, let's find a good way to transfer data from one place to another, school to another." And then they said, like, "Hey, man, that's pretty cool." So then they kind of established a protocol so that we can communicate, and it has been kind of made the standard. It's been standardized throughout the years, so everybody can use it, and that everybody can agree to use the same language, pretty much. That's why nowadays, at the beginning of the internet, do you guys remember when you had something like Internet Explorer, and then you had something like Firefox, and then you had something else, and they all use HTTP, but they all kind of use a different version, or they took different versions of it, or they used it in a different way. I mean, that's really twisting the meaning. But do you guys know anything about that or remember anything about that?
I mean, we still kind of have that problem, but
Oh
yeah, I remember like
yes.
Netscape and AOL all being like weird about it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, we indeed we still do, but it's getting better with people establishing kind of the standards. But yeah, it used to be a lot worse. Yeah, so pretty much it's just hypertext. The HTTP is just how we communicate over the internet. That's all it is. That is how we send information over the internet. And that's all we're going to really do, or know, or we need to know. I mean, later on you will need to know it intimately, or at least a bit more. But for now, knowing that it is kind of the transport language for web pages or for the internet. Are you guys good with that? Yes? Yes. Okay. So now, what we have been doing so far, we have been using these words. We've been using something called a get, and something called a post. I mean, I know you guys probably don't, haven't encountered it much or know what it is, but does anything come to mind what does get mean to you?
Retrieve data.
Okay, that makes sense. Yes, that's legit.
Input.
Okay, yes, yes. So it's somewhat of both. It is both. Is definitely both. Okay, so when there are other commands to interact or get information or send information on the internet. The main two are get and post. Okay. Whenever you click on a link, on any link anywhere, you are using a get. Okay. You see when I hover over all these things there? It is using a call, get call, that get goes to the server and handles the get call and gets whatever information it is. For us, the example would be it goes to an action of the controller and it handles it. Does that make sense? Okay. Also, whenever you think of a get, think of a URL. That is what you're dealing with in a way. That's why links are kind of shortcuts to URL, correct? Yes?
Said that shortcuts to URL?
In a way, yeah, they're just like substitute for URLs or addresses up here.
Gotcha.
Instead of you typing it, you're basically clicking on something that types it for you to simplify it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah. So that is the kind of like that is the basic or standard. The standard way of getting information on the internet, on HTTP. Okay, now so far that's a decent I think that is a pretty decent definition of it, of getting data through URLs and links, etc. Okay, I'm just gonna give you kind of like this, right? Okay. Not only can you get data, correct, but you could also send data, like we do on our actions. So, for example, let me run we're already running. Okay, so here I go to roster here, and you see where we have delete, we are sending a get to our action, and we are supplying it in the URL some information. We're giving it some information. So then it can use that information and then send us something back. Okay. So don't get confused in saying just because it's called get, it doesn't mean that we can't send information back. I mean that we can send information to the action or the controller. You could still send information. That is totally fine. Okay. And also any information that we are sending, you can see it. It's, for example, when you hover through a link, can you see all the information that you're sending? Yes?
Yeah.
Or no? Yeah, you can, right? Like, for example, if I go here, I know that I'm going to the edited character and then ID equals 68. Because it is in the URL. So it is not very safe or very secure, right? I mean, you're like, duh, look, you're sending the number 68. Does that make sense at all? I mean, it is. Also, let me ask you a question. So far so good. Are we good with gets?
Yeah.
Yeah. And most of the times whenever we do anything in our project, where the default is get. All right. The default calls are all get because again we're using links and we're directing to a a controller which goes to an action. Yeah, default. All right. I want you to do me a favor and see if you can think of something else. Let's say, well, not yet. I will save that question for later. Okay, so now that is get. Okay, so get is get information from somewhere, some kind of resource. And sometimes you may be able to send some, bits of information to help with getting whatever you need. But again, you're requesting something, some kind of web page or some kind of information or anything really. That is the main and basic unit or basic action for HTTP, get. We will come up with a nice, quick definition of it, before the day is done. Let's think about that. Okay, so now let's move on. I think we have a decent idea of what get is. Remember, it's the standard, the default way of getting information in the database. In the internet. So we have a little bit of experience with post. Now, what's post? What do you think post is?
That's sending.
Okay, it is. It is sending. Yes.
It's the post office.
Exactly. That is exactly what it is. So with post, while when you use get, the main idea would be to get some kind of result, right? And you might need to send a little something, some kind of parameters in order to get that result. But the main one is to get something when you use it, get a web page or anything. Okay. So with post, the focus, like you just said, is sending information to an action or some kind of function that processes your post, and then it does something with it. Now, it might send you back a page or redirect you to a page, right? Or just send you a page itself. So it's kind of like a get. But again, the focus and the emphasis on this is to what? So emphasis on posting information, well, emphasis on sending information pretty much. Sending information. So the emphasis is to send information. So forms. So basically we're talking about forms here. Is that fair? In a way?
Fair.
Yeah. So forms. There are other ways, but yeah, so forms here. So sending a collection of data to a function. For us, it's an action that processes this. God damn it. Well, processes is. There you go. I hope that's it right there. Sending a collection of data to a function or action that processes it. And in turn, it might return something, right? Might return a page or info or nothing. You could just be collecting information and sending it to somewhere and not have to send anything back. Nothing or redirecting. Actually, let me just redirecting as well. Or redirecting. And I mean, you guys understand that, right? It's all good. That is lock, right? Is that a lock? Are you guys good with that?
Yep.
Okay. You got to say it's a lock. No. Is it a lock?
It's a lot.
Okay, it's a lock. Okay, so Dan, are you locking it? I didn't hear you lock it.
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
saying it. I'm sorry.
No, I can't hear you. You got to lock it. You got to lock it.
I'm locked.
Okay, okay, good. Yes. So, and now one thing that, so we're sending information here, and I don't know if you guys, I know you guys haven't noticed probably because we can't see it, but when sending data to an action or the server somewhere, when we hit that button, can you actually see all that information that we're sending back? I mean, just with a naked eye, like you can with a URL?
That depends. I mean, it's an HTTP file, so yeah, it's there.
No. When we're sending, when you click submit, we cannot see that information unless you're using something like some kind of special uh, software that lets you see what we're sending.
Okay.
Yeah. I know what you mean, like looking at the actual form. That's what you mean, right?
Yeah.
Yes. But
Yeah, but that's not what the user
that's
is
not.
inputting.
God damn it. Exactly. That is not what the user is inputting, which is the information we would really want, right? You see, and you guys get it, which is good. Because that is the information that's going to change us. That is the information that we're sending. That's the important information that we're processing and sending to the server. So one thing that is different is that info is being sent in the background. Oh yeah, can't see it like a URL. Okay. So again, so when I'm typing something here, right? I mean, not typing. Like when we see a URL, it's pretty quick, right? Like you can see when I click on it, I'm gonna click on it, and somebody else, hey, you clicked on 68, or hey, I mean, you see it yourself. If you're seeing yourself, then it's not very secure. Or if you're typing it up here, it's not that secure. But when you, let's say you do like what's that creation page? Oh, I think you moved it over here. Okay, yeah. I think we need our create page back up here somewhere. Okay, so here, this is a form here, right? And let's create Conan. Wait, who's creating stuff? I like it.
I did some.
No,
You can
that's
refresh
good.
it. There's a whole list.
Okay, no, yeah, we need it. I'm gonna create Conan, and Conan is gonna be a barbarian dragonborn PC. Actually, let's call him a GM for now.
That is
Okay.
the list, actually.
So when I hit this information that I just chose is being sent in the background to our home controller, our create character, right here. And we can see it just like we do like a URL. Oh, there it is. There's Kodak. Oh, I like the soup Nazi. No soup for you. Oh, okay, there you go. We got the Seinfeld crew. I like it. I just realized that. Right here, Elaine, Cosmo. But this is good. This is good. So yeah, so going back. So yeah, so we're sending the information on the background. So basically, we're sending information. We can use both ways to send information, right? And get information. I mean, they can both return a web page, a view. So it all depends how we want to handle sending the information. Normally, the more data you have, you would want to use a form, and that's what most people use. Because let me ask you a question, Okay. Um, Let me know if you guys notice something. URL. Let's start. Let's say that I don't want to use a form, and I
Just gonna
want. Was that
sorry, just gonna type it all in.
exactly? Yeah. So let's say that I don't want to use a form, and I want to imitate this thing down here. So it would be like what? Like name equals Bobby and class equals barbarian and well, I mean you kind of get the idea, right?
You can probably put your own stuff in there.
Well, it is kind of some people do that. It's an attack of a sort. Um,
Oh, I mean, like, well, yeah, I get what you're saying, but like instead of barbarian, you could put, I don't know,
yeah,
God.
yeah, pretty much. And then you have just described an injection attack.
Okay.
That's
And
exactly
back in the
how.
early days, like that was one of the easiest ways to get around because sometimes pages didn't want to take you where you wanted to go.
No, yeah. So you just typed it in yourself, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's yeah, that's what a SQL injection attacks looked like. You could just
Ah.
type whatever you want. I mean, you have. I mean, we're pretty protected against that stuff, but still, it is a lesson that we will have where we will go over later on. I mean, we're not fully protected, really. We're pretty open to some things, but hopefully, no one takes advantage of it. But anyway, yeah. So what I'm getting at when you use the post, the main thing that I want to get away here. So let's say that you have a huge forms, and there are big forms out there that have like tons of information. I'm not kidding. Like I used to work for MedLife, and some of those forms were fucking gigantic. They had so much information. And imagine, well, what do you notice? Like if you try to do all that stuff on a, right here on a get, what limitation do you see that you're gonna be, excuse me, running into?
Oh my goodness.
Well, yeah, yeah, URLs have a limit. They have a limitation.
They do. They actually do, huh?
Yes, they do.
Uh-huh.
So you cannot it's very limited. So I mean it's not that small. I mean you could get away with it. So let me see. What is the URL max length? I guess. Oh, look at that. 2,800. Wait, no, 2,083 characters.
Wow.
That is a lot of characters, but I can assure you, characters go really quickly when you need them.
I've actually punished that limit before.
Really?
And I didn't realize what I was doing. But yes, I've done it before.
Oh yes.
And my pages break.
Yeah, this is why they're breaking. So they're kind of a there is a limit. So you cannot use if you're sending over a lot of information. So one, it's a lot of information. You cannot use a get. Why can you not use a get? Because it has a limit. Limited space.
You broke whatever you put in there couldn't complete.
Yep, and it will crash. So limited characters. That is the main difference. Well, one of the main differences. This one, and that is something they're going to ask you in interviews. And hey, like, what's the tell me a couple of difference between gets and post. Of course, one is usually used to send form information, and it's sent in the background. And the other ones you could see in plain text what it is, and it has a limit. So if you have a lot of information sent over, you cannot use a get. You have to use a post. And also
And
one thing.
post does not have a limit, or it's
It does, but I think it's a lot bigger than get. I don't even know if it
Okay.
has a limit. I have never encountered it.
I mean, when we post, we can, yeah, I guess we can post a lot of stuff. So
Yeah, I mean
even it,
it's a different kind of mechanism. So yeah, it's set to handle a lot of data.
that makes sense. Yeah, I could see even if it had a limit, like there would have to be ways to get around it because you can just keep sending information as long as you need to.
Yeah, well that is why we do, or why we use it.
Uh,
Yeah, no, so this is good. So this is very good right here. Um, and yeah, so yeah, so you got get. So one last thing I want to go over with this is that again, they're both. You can get information. You could use them both to get information, get pages, get anything. But one is used, as the default. And if you need a simple way to get around, which doesn't need to be secure and there's not a lot of data, hey, why not use get? And that is pretty much what everybody uses with links and most calls. Um, while other times, hey, you need to use a post because you're sending too much data, or you want it to be a little bit more secure. You don't want anybody to see your data, and there are sometimes how should let me see. Well, calls. Okay, so make believe right here. Make believe that there's a service out there that you need to send information. And when you send some information, let's say a credit card, you send a credit card number and it tells you if the credit card is good or bad. Okay. Sometimes some services require you to use either a post or a get. So if you send your credit card information with a get and it requires a post, it's going to tell you, man, what are you doing? I need to send the same thing, send a request, but send it in a post. So send it inside a form or something, or an Ajax call, which we'll get to later. Send it like that. Or sometimes and the other way around is like, hey man, why are you sending a post when get is fine? We don't have anything to handle that post, okay? So, I mean, does that make sense here? So some services sometimes require a call with either get or post to work. I mean, you're probably not going to run into that for now, but I want you to remember that for the future. Yeah, that's important. Actually, the best example for us is, do you see this create character here? It expects a post, right? If you try to do a get, it's like, man, what are you doing? Ain't no create character with get here. Actually, there is. And the one that handles the get is just the one that does the view. But this one is the one that handles, well, this one is the actual form, and this is the one that handles the post. So form and actual post with info. So when you do the get to this, you just get the actual form information. And then you fill out the form and submit that post to here. Okay. And that is good. That is solid information here. And again, this, as a web developer slash programmer or anything you want to call it, is the single most important thing that you can imagine, because whenever you go anywhere, you will go to a job interview, and the first thing that they will ask you is, hey, can you tell me? And the thing is, a lot of people don't know what the difference is. They will. I personally am embarrassed to say that right at the beginning, I was asked this question and I was not able to answer it intelligently. And that was bad. But now, hopefully, you guys have some semblance of an answer, and so at least you can maybe explain what the difference is, because it's a little bit tricky once you actually start answering. It's a little bit tricky, but you guys understand it, and just need to work on some kind of elegant way or some kind of legit way or concise way to answer the question. But yeah, that is the first question or one of the most basic questions that if you don't answer it, they're pretty much just gonna say, "Oh, okay, yeah," and just. But then that's it. You probably, unless you do really really well in all the other parts, that's pretty much it. Are you guys with that?
Yes.
Yes.
And so yeah, so Dave, what's get and post, man? What's get? What's a get?
Get.
Yeah, what is it?
It's like getting data to URLs, links, etc.
Okay, that's right. That's right.
It's a type of transfer protocol.
Well, the transfer protocol is HTTP. Get is one of the calls, one of the main calls, the default calls for to get information in that protocol. Yes. And tell me one of the downsides of using get is.
Limited to a maximum of 2083 characters on the URL.
Nice. Yeah, so about 2K. Limited, I would say yeah, about 2K characters or something. Okay. Yeah, so it's limited somewhat. What's another downside if you can now remember, if there is any?
Let me see. No downside.
Oh, I forgot to write it in here.
You cannot sense of data.
You could send data over here, yeah.
I mean, like very sensitive data.
Oh, exactly, security.
Like you don't want it in. You want it in the background. You don't want
Exactly.
it in the URL. That your social security number. Who the heck type an SSN number on the nav bar?
Exactly. So yeah, so low security. That is one of the downsides. I like that. That is exactly what I was looking for.
Yes,
Okay.
that.
And that is legit. Okay, so Dan, what's post? What is post and what is it?
Post is sending, usually in a form.
Okay. And
oh, okay.
well, go ahead. Okay, so
no.
how is it different from a get?
Oh, again, it's usually in a form, not directly over the URL bar.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I dig it. And what is one of how and name what way that a post is better than a get? Or two, yeah, name one.
Well, we did call on the security issue.
Okay.
You can send things securely without broadcasting your data.
Well, in a way, that's a kind of like not really, but it is really. But yes, it's more secure than URL. And what else? What's another one? We got the security. What is the other one?
We can do more than just send and receive data. We can go places with it.
Well,
that doesn't make sense.
No, that makes no sense. No. Well, you could send more data than a get.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so usually those two, for each one, it's definitely is legit. Yeah, so you could send a collection of data somewhere to an action or somewhere to be, to process it. And then, again, one thing that I want you to know, and I want you to drill this into your minds, right, is that whichever one you use, each one can still send, you know, pretty much the same thing. They could send back a web page, an HTML page, a URL, some, I don't know, URL data or anything, a file. So pretty much most of them can return almost anything or just the same, okay, or very similar. Just don't think because you're using one, it cannot return or redirect you to the other. Yeah. That's why I said this. Like, don't get hung up on it returning something different than this. They can return very similar things. So I'm just gonna write it here. Both return or can return similar results. It's just the input that is a little different of what it's getting. In fact, at the end, you see you have the HTTP here. All we're doing is redirecting to an action here. And here, all we're doing is just returning an action, which is the same thing, this and that. So they're both very similar in what they can return. Okay, so how are your brains? How are your brains? Your brains good?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, don't sleep on this. You need to drill this into your minds. It needs to be part of you because it is the main, it's the most important thing that as a developer, web developer, you need to know. You cannot stutter. You got to know it cold. And of course, I mean, it's everyday use as well, so no worries. Okay, so we feel confident about that. Maybe, yeah, from 1 to 10, is that at least an 8?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so as I was saying over here, okay, here we go. Okay, so we were talking about divs before. What time is it? 10 o'clock? All right. Yeah, we got a little time, I think. Well, how are your minds? How are your brains?
Yep.
Are you guys good?
I'm good for divs.
Okay. Oh, no, we're not doing divs. Well, you guys should understand divs up to a point, right? It's a way to divide your web pages like we did before, I think. Oh yeah, there you go. We got divs here.
Yeah, you went over it a little bit.
Yeah, but not a lot though, right? Just a little bit here. Yeah, we got divs here, div create character. Yeah, okay. This is good. Okay, so I'm gonna be doing something pretty sweet here. Okay, I'm gonna do you guys a solid. We're gonna do a twofer right now. Okay, so the twofer that we're gonna do is number 1 is we're going to introduce you to NuGet packages R. You do not need to really focus on this or pay a lot, It's something that you're going to use, not that often, but it's something for you to be aware. It's an easy way to install code packages. I don't know, let's call them helpers, add-ons, mods, whatever you want to call them, into your project. All right. Oh, actually, libraries. Let's call them libraries, which is really the first one I should have. Actually, let's keep helpers. Take out add-ons. All right. Yeah, so it's an easy way to install. Okay, so we know what a library is, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. And that I mentioned that there are a lot of cool libraries out there that make life easier for us and that we can install. Okay.
You have
Um,
a few
one
things.
of the ones that we are going to be using a lot, and that will be kind of like a part of us. It's kind of like, and we have to know it until it's kind of second nature. It's not that deep, but it's very important to know. Okay. One of them is called jQuery. And we have spoken about this, I think. In fact, jQuery is on our main list, isn't it?
I believe so.
I think it is. Wherever our main list is over here somewhere. .NET Stack, Interface, HTML5, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery. There it is. Okay, so what is jQuery, you ask? I am glad that you ask. jQuery is a JavaScript library. Okay. All right, library. That makes using JavaScript easier. Very handy. Okay. We still haven't gotten into the why do we need JavaScript? Why do we need to use it? When we will be slowly getting into that. Um, so, so jQuery is a sweet library, JavaScript library that lets us use JavaScript to do stuff. And why do we use JavaScript, first of all? Why do we want to use it? What does it do? What can we do with JavaScript?
Manipulate web pages.
God damn it, that's right. To manipulate DOM. Yeah, manipulate web pages. And use Ajax to get server info. So those are the two main reasons why we will be using this. And in fact, that's one of the main reasons we're going to be using JavaScript. Mostly, we're going to focus on the manipulating web pages first. Okay. So let's get jQuery. Let's see where it is and how it is. So first of all, let's see if we have jQuery. Hold on. Oh, we already have. Oh, we have Bootstrap too. Goddamn. All right. We don't. Okay. So remember what I was talking about, that package thing? Just forget about that for now. We are fine. Okay. I think it's already loaded for us. Okay. So I just got to see where it is loaded. I think it is already loaded into Webpage. I have to test it. All right. Yes, so we remember we're talking about this package, NuGet package. Yeah, just remember that it's an easy way to install libraries. That's all we're doing of that for now because I don't think we're using it. Okay, so now jQuery. Awesome way to mess around with JavaScript. Okay, so we are here in the roster page. Are you guys good with the roster page? Yes. Okay.
I like the roster page.
It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. So notice that I have created a couple of divs around certain sections of the page. We have a roster div, and that roster div, it's over here. It ends here. Let me see if I remember. Nah. Control EF. I might mess around something here, so give me Control. My shortcuts, I'm a little bit G.
I have a recommendation if we have a border.
God damn it. Nah, hold on. Maybe in a bit. Hold on.
Understood.
Yeah. There is a shortcut that makes this and makes it look better for you. It kind of creates the spaces and formats it for you. I kind of forgot what it was. But for now, anyway, I created a div, and in this div, I have all this information here. I have this table, basically the table for the roster. Can you guys see that? Here, and it ends here. So
Control, sorry, Control
ahead.
E or Control F to format a selection?
I think that's exactly what it is, yeah. I was throwing shift in there, by the way. So let's see, Control E F. There it is. It? Yes, there it is. Beautiful.
Man, it has its own convention for formatting. That's actually pretty cool. That's really nice.
It's pretty powerful. Where did you see that? I haven't seen that in a while.
Stack Overflow had a.
Oh, okay, yes. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. I was doing Control Shift EF. I threw an extra shift in there. It's just Control EF. But yeah, so if you select all and then Control EF, it formats it for you and makes it seem, look a lot nicer. So this div here, it spaces it a little bit better. So whatever's inside this div is, well, all of this is part of this div here. Okay, and then I created another div called create character, which has the section that creates characters. Pretty cool. And then, I have sample buttons here. You guys remember that I have another div, and in here I have buttons here. Okay, so this is good. So now this is actually pretty good here. I'm not going to use this button right now, but I am going to test something. Value height. Okay. Just bear with me here. I'm testing to see if, because I'm not sure if this particular project, okay, so we are going to be using jQuery. We have established that, correct? And in this project, Microsoft was cool enough to install or at least give us the files for jQuery. Do you guys see them here in the scripts?
Yeah.
And this is jQuery 3.31. I think it's one of the latest, which is it's up there.
They did advertise IntelliSense as being a thing for the new version of Visual Studio.
Oh, it's nice. IntelliSense, it's a beautiful thing. Oh man, look at it! It's right there. Oh my goodness. I don't have it, so I've gotten used to. Well, I have it for certain things, and for others I don't. But it helps a lot. After a while, you kind of know. But yeah, it's really good, especially at the beginning. But yeah, I mean, it's just great. And so it installed a bunch of stuff. Well, actually, to tell you the truth, IntelliSense, it's a lifesaver in these things here, in the HTML files. At work, I need to fix my IntelliSense because my IntelliSense doesn't work. Mine is jacked up for some reason because somebody fucked up the files or something. So it would probably take me some time to figure out what the hell is up. So, I mean, I don't need it, at least. But it's very nice, though. It can save a lot of time and grief. But going back, so yeah, so Microsoft was pretty cool enough to load these files for us in this project. So we have jQuery installed, version 3.3. Do you guys see it? That's really nice.
Yeah.
Okay. It has jQuery validate, which is really powerful and really nice as well. Excuse me. Really nice. And it has Bootstrap, which we'll get to soon or later. Very powerful. So this project here, it's already really strong, and we could do a lot of stuff with it because it came loaded with basically all the most important things that you know that you need and you can use to create web pages and really powerful JavaScript frameworks. So what I'm trying to get at here is that it exists in the project. Now I need to test to see if it's actually loaded. Because all this is now here is that this file is in this folder. And I can say, hey, this is where the file is, right? So, but I'm not sure if it's already loaded or not. I need to check. Okay. I can check. I mean, I could just do a quick check and see if it's loaded in our when we run it, which I will do in a second. But before we do that, let me just see. What did I call this? Hide. Okay. I am just doing a test here, so do not worry about it. Just go with the flow. Just trust me. All right, where is, let's see. Oh my God, this has freaking intelligence. Jesus Christ.
Yay.
This is crazy. See, I don't have any of this. This is amazing.
So that action, that's IntelliSense right there.
Holy, yes. Well, usually you don't have IntelliSense for JavaScript. It's unheard of.
It seems more frustrating than helpful in many cases.
Oh no, it's helpful. I mean, well, once you kind of figure out the bugaboos and stuff and what it means, all these things, I think. But no, I feel you. I think you mean it throws you off or something?
No, it's like sometimes it locks down. Like I can't navigate around code because it's trying to complete a piece of code for me that I'm done with.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's weird. All right, so this is really good. So, two things. I think that it's already installed and it understands jQuery because I think it's already integrated into this project. Do you know why I may know that? Because we have IntelliSense. Okay, so I'm gonna get into jQuery in a little bit, but basically, jQuery, whenever you're using it, however you start with it is by using a dollar sign. That is saying, hey, I'm using jQuery. What's up? And then use this. I'm gonna get to this soon. I'm just doing a test, so don't freak out. Roster. No worries. Oh my God, it understands. That's crazy. That is very scary. Wow, you guys have it very nice here. This is pretty crazy. I mean, I had it for a little bit a while ago, but it's very nice. Okay, again, hide, show. Don't fall asleep on me. We're almost there. And but this is a very good example on what a DOM is, how we're gonna use it, how do we interact with it, and how are we gonna use JavaScript and jQuery. Oh well, roster. All right. Wow, this is really good, really powerful. All right, I'm gonna run it. Again, I don't even know if this is gonna work. So let's see. I am running our project here. And let's see, I'm gonna go roster. I'm gonna go to dance page here. Okay, so do you guys remember what the pop button did?
It collapsed the
No. Pop is just a pop-up.
oh, pop-up burp.
Flip. Just when we push it, I didn't even show it. It's like just, yeah, it's a pop-up that says alert. You just push the button. It's like, hey. So that's what it does. And remember, we created this button and we linked it on the onClick property. We linked it to this function here. And this is a JavaScript function. And the JavaScript function just says, hey, alert, alert, you push the button. Okay, that makes sense? Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, what is this button supposed to do?
Hide the entire roster.
All right, let's see. It is on the onClick is a function called hide, yes. And hide, basically I selected roster. This means the div roster or anything with the ID roster. And then hide it. Okay. Do I have anything on this page called roster? With the ID roster? Yes, it is this div. So yeah, you're correct. So let's see, well, let's see if it hides it. Flip. It is not. All right, what the hell? I think there's something weird with our functions here. Console. Shoe. Is your daughter okay?
Yeah, she's going off at passerby.
That is weird. Yeah, this is really weird. Script, hide, roster.hide. Yeah, I don't think it's registering or doing it, which is really weird. Actually, let me just hide. Yeah, that should be correct, I think. I think it might not be, well, hold on, show. And we are in the same, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, this is kind of, Actually, let's do something special here to make it much simpler. Because I think when we're using, you see these pages here, sometimes the way the pages are set up, it messes up how the JavaScript works. But this is really weird because this, if this works, then so is this.
Well, maybe instead of roster, it should be Dan roster, right? Dan roster.
Well, because let's see. Well, the div is called roster, and that is what we're trying to get. Unless, well, let me see its ID. Well, let's see if we actually even get to this function here. How can I test to see if I get into this function? This is good, actually. This is very good. What can I do if you guys are programmers and I wanted to check to see if I'm calling this function, if I'm in here? How can I check?
You want to set a breakpoint on it?
Yes, but let's say another way.
F12.
No. You guys are good though. Oh well.
You want us to do something in the browser?
Yes, I want something to happen in the browser when I come in here.
Oh, okay. So it's not something we've done before.
Well, it is. This is more of a, well, I can tell you, no, I'll give it away. All right, you have 10 seconds. If there's anything, tell me, well, 15 seconds, anything that I can do to test to see if when I hit this button, I come in here and this is working here. Go ahead.
You want to put a pop-up on there?
That's right. God damn it. That is correct. So I could say, do a pop-up or an alert saying, yo, you're inside, or something. Well, yeah, you can have these. Something like that. Then, you see, this is good. We're working it out. You see, this is how you work out problems, by the way. You, little by little, you try to see if things work out here. So now I know I have a button and on click. So whenever I hit this button and I come in here, it's going to hit this first. And we know that the alert works, right? Because we have used it. I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so then, so let's see if at least we reach here, and then this is not doing anything for some reason. Oh, I'm an idiot. I just
found it.
I just found out what the problem is. I'm retarded. Sorry. I'm an idiot. Yes. Well,
it's the wrong page.
No, it's the right page.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got.
No, it is the right page. It's just that I forgot what it is that I'm trying to get at. No, so let's go. This is good problem solving. I know what the problem is already, but let's go. Let's see if I'm gonna refresh the page. Okay, so let's say that's a good way of testing to see if it's actually even going there. Sometimes it doesn't even go there, right? So if I press this, I am gonna, what should happen if I'm in the right function?
Get a pop-up.
Okay, so let's see. Oh, there you go. Yo, you're inside. So I am in the right place. I'm definitely in the right function. So therefore, there's something weird going on with this. It's not working correctly, or there's something wrong. And indeed, there is something wrong.
You're directing to the wrong roster page.
No, I am not.
Aren't we in Dan roster?
Yeah, no, I'm not directing. I'm just, I'm sorry, I'm kind of using this and not really explaining in a second, which I will explain in a second. I just wanted to get to work. I am missing this. Which I should have, I should have done from the beginning. Okay, I'll explain it again. Just take this on faith for now. All right. This is just how jQuery works. This is the syntax for jQuery. You don't know it yet, but you will know it soon. Okay. So I'm gonna do again. I'm gonna refresh. I'm gonna do a quick refresh here, and oh, we got all these peeps. Nice. All right, so I'm going to do a pop-up here. And, well, let's see if it works now. Hold on. Oh! Yo, where did our page go? Where is it? Ah! What happened if I hit show? Whoa!
Wow.
So you see that? If I hide it, and then if I show it, all right, and then I hide it, and I show it, then I do the pop-up. That is pretty cool, right? So let's talk about what's happening here. What exactly is happening here? We are messing around, manipulating the web page, the DOM. That is, in fact, what we are doing. Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
And do you agree that hiding and showing a part of a web page is something that we do every day, and it's kind of important, right? I mean, and we're kind of used to it, and it's something you do. It's one of the main, well, it's not one of the main functions, but it's a good function to have at your disposal, correct?
Is that a common way to make like drop down stuff?
Yes, it is. It's a very common way of kind of like either like have an arrow or something. You see those arrows that people have, like expand a section or
Yeah,
or show a section?
you like to use that.
That is pretty much exactly what this is. It's just hiding and showing a certain part of. And again, we are using JavaScript to do this. Except we are using JavaScript through jQuery, which what is jQuery? It's a library that makes JavaScript easy. It basically creates or wraps calls or functions in an easy to use way. We're still using JavaScript, and we are gonna, I'm gonna show you guys how to do this in normal JavaScript later on, but I want you to get the grasp of jQuery first, or at least at the same time. So, hey, look at that. We're messing around with the DOM, and again, this is, it's a function that we're using, and we're interacting and messing around with the DOM and doing cool stuff here. And we're using jQuery to do so. So my question to you here now is, when I hit hide, what am I hiding?
A div?
That's right. Yes. So now, do you see how a div or why they're important and why they're used widely?
Yeah, that's pretty good power.
Yeah, it's because you could separate a web page. You could just throw some divs anywhere, put them wherever you want, and then you can manipulate them using jQuery by hiding them, showing them, changing the color of the background, pretty much doing anything you want. And you do this by using a single container name, or just a container. So that is why divs are they're very important and why you should use them. And again, it's a way of addressing or accessing certain areas as a container. So you could put things in the container, take out, copy, change the whole container in one shot, and do all sorts of, massage it, rub it down, and do anything you want. And that is kind of the reality of HTML and divs and JavaScript, and that's how they're used. That's how they are used together. So with all these tools, you could do some pretty nifty things, and the more you know, the more you learn. You could do a lot more. Let's see, and the cool thing, like I said, is that jQuery can preload it with this, right? Normally, you have to download this file from jQuery.com, and then on top of the page say, hey, include this file. That is already done for us in, I think, the layout. Somewhere around here, I think it's jQuery. Yeah, in here somewhere they include it for us. But somewhere in our page, this file is included. That is why we can use it. Is that clear? Or, it's common sense, right? So in order for you to use it, you need to include it. It's all jQuery is a library that makes it easier for us to do stuff. Is that cool? Yes? I know it's cool. I'm just... Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Over here, you see? Here? This is just a fancy way of saying, hey, load all the jQuery stuff into our project. And this is in our layout. And remember, our layout is this part of our web page, out here. So anything we load in here would already have jQuery on it. Okay. I think this is a good place to stop. I don't want to hit you guys too hard or too much. But do you guys get kind of the basics of Later on, we will get into jQuery syntax, but I want you to get used to this jQuery, and I'm going to give you guys a nice assignment, which I haven't thought of yet, but it's going to be nice. It's going to be the greatest assignment. It's going to be nice. It's going to be beautiful. You're going to love it. All right? Believe me. Believe me. It's going to be the greatest. And but for now, I think this is good enough, and I'm gonna update the wiki, and I need to upload the videos as well because I'm behind like 4 videos, I think, or maybe 3 videos, or 2.5, because it's been kind of mostly doing homework and then going over certain things. But I need to update and update the wiki as well. I mean our variable stock. So divs, are we good with divs? We alright?
Yeah.
We're good with tables. We have an idea of what JavaScript is, a little bit, and jQuery. Okay. We will get more into JavaScript and jQuery the next time. But I'll think of a good, like I said, I'll think of a good assignment, and I'll let you guys get a little bit rest today, and we'll see. Oh, I sent in an email to the HR, and I'm waiting for the answer. I already convinced one of my coworkers, so, and he said, hey, why not give it a shot, right? So I just need to convince. Well, we're done for today, so no.